Back on the show is Cody Stamann, who's coming off a huge win at KOP 54. He took out Bill Kamari in the first round. Cody, how's it going?
I'm doing really good, man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Always appreciate you asking. And we'll talk about the Bill Kamari fight in a second here. But I talked to Matt Frendo over the weekend, and now I'm talking to you. Last week, I had an interview with UFC veteran Johnny Bedford, and he had some not so nice things to say about yourself. And I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond to some of the things that he said and kind of give your side of everything. So by all means, the floor is yours.
So, the whole Johnny Bedford issue started with a fight against Mike Hernandez. He caught Mike Hernandez in the first round, ended up finishing him via rear naked choke, and then as soon as he got the finish, he pushed Mike's head in the ground real hard, got up and started flipping off our whole team and kind of calling everyone a bitch and saying some real unsportsmanlike shit after the fight. Obviously I was in Mike's corner, I was in the cage, and Johnny was kind of telling Mike's family and fans and our team that we all suck, screw us, he's the man, this, and this. He just went way overboard. And, me being the little hothead that I am, I just had enough, and I had a water bottle in my hand. I chucked the water bottle at him. I got restrained by security, and I was pointing at him like, I'm gonna get you, dude. I'm gonna get you. And that's really where it all originated. This was, God, I'm not exactly sure when that fight was, but, the next KOP show, I was begging Matt Frendo, dude, you got to get Johnny Bedford on the card. You got to get Johnny Bedford on the card. I want to fight Johnny Bedford. Everyone in Michigan was kind of like, that would be an awesome fight. Cody Stamann against Johnny Bedford. Let's make that happen. Well, I want to say it was November, the first time that we offered the fight. He said he was booked. So, I went with Steven Cervantes, who's 6-1, who's a very good up-and-coming guy. And I went and beat him. The next card was January. Same thing. I told Matt Frendo, hey, what's Johnny Bedford doing? Let's see what he's up to. Matt hit him up. Again, I don't think Bedford responded to the fight, or maybe he was hurt. I don't exactly know. So I didn't end up having an opponent for January. And then March came around. Same thing. No Johnny Bedford. And then I got, signed to fight against Bill Kamari, who's 13-6. Very tough dude. He's got 13 finishes, 13 wins, 6 losses. 3 of his losses came to, current UFC fighters. Really, really tough guy, real well-rounded. He's a Pinnacle FC champ. So it was a good fight for me. And this was this past Friday. I fought him. I finished him in the first round. I caught him with a pretty good left hook. And then I hit him with a front kick in the face, and then after that, it was kind of that was the beginning of the end. In the last minute of the fight, it was just me pounding him. I ended up getting the finish in the first round, and maybe a week before that fight, Johnny Bedford starts running his mouth to me about I'm running scared from him, all this stuff. He's making these actually really hilarious memes. He made this missing person meme of me, and it was I had Justin Bieber hair, and I was armrest height. It was honestly, it was hilarious. It was actually pretty entertaining. I mean, everybody's making fun of me for it. And then after that fight, I went back to Matt Frendo and I was like, hey, I'm gonna publicly call out Johnny Bedford. So, tell me if this fight can happen at the end of April. And he goes, yeah, absolutely. Everybody in Michigan wants to see this fight. So, I went on an interview, and I basically, said, let's make it happen. I'll sign the contract wherever you want. Come fight me in Grand Rapids in my hometown. He says, no, I'm hiding behind my promotion. I don't, I'm a coward. I'm this, I'm that. Well, in reality, I make a lot of money fighting in Grand Rapids. That's where I'm going to fight. KOP's been nothing but good to me. They've been bringing guys from all over the country to fight me. It makes no sense for me to go anywhere else and fight Johnny. If Johnny really wants to fight me, if it was really a personal thing between him and I, he would have showed up in Grand Rapids when I said, hey, buddy, I'll sign a contract to fight you in 6 weeks. I don't know many guys that are, 13-1 that are turning fights over, in 6 weeks. That's not an easy thing to do as an athlete. But I'm doing it, and I was willing to do it against Johnny Bedford. But he wanted to fight for WXC, and I wanted to fight for KOP, so the timing just wasn't right. It had nothing to do with me not wanting this fight. Like I said, I've asked for this fight several times in the past. I think Johnny, he doesn't have anything for me. I think it's a good fight. My manager was like, beating a guy that kind of wasn't in the UFC very long. He's like, I'm not sure it does a whole lot for you, like credential wise, but if this is a fight that you really want, let's do it. And everything was solid. It's just that the timing wasn't right. He's contracted to fight for WXC. I'm fighting for KOP. Whatever. But 2017 just started. So believe me, if everything goes as planned, which I know that it will, at the end of April here, I hope he goes out and he beats somebody up. And, I'm going to beat up Zac Church April 29th in my hometown. And you better know after that fight, I'm going to be looking to fight Johnny Bedford, because this guy has been, saying a lot of things that just aren't true. I'm not running from anybody. I fought Farkhad Sharipov, who was 15-6. I was like 9-1. This guy, he's a Titan FC champ. I'm not fighting bums. I'm fighting tough guys, and I'm going out and I'm beating them decisively. I've been fighting tough guys, my last, 10 fights. I have like 10 main event fights. Nobody can sit here and say that, I'm fighting bums. At 4-0, I was fighting guys that were 5-0 and knocking them out. So, my credentials speak for themselves. I've been in 3 5-round wars. Nobody can take anything away from me. Not Johnny Bedford. He can run his mouth to all 7 of his fans, say whatever the hell he wants. But, when it comes down to it, him and I are going to get in the cage, and I'm going to beat that old man's ass, and that's it. And he's going to be completely irrelevant after that. I'm the A side to this equation. I'm the fight. I was his only option. He had to make that fight happen for WXC. But, I've been working my ass off for a long time. There's a lot of people that want to fight me because I'm 13-1. Losing to a guy that's 13-1 doesn't really hurt you that much. But beating a guy that's 13-1, that puts you way up. So, of course, everybody wants to fight me. You know what I mean? in the Midwest, I kind of feel like, I got a big bullseye on my back. Everybody wants a piece of me because everybody knows that I'm the next guy to go to the show because I've been, not only have I been beating guys that have good records, but I've been finishing guys that have good records. You know what I mean? I mean, Bill Kamari was no joke. The guy fought for the RFA title. He's the Pinnacle FC champ. I went out and destroyed him in 1 round. Snapped my fingers, and I told you on my my interview before the fight that I was going to do that, and I did it. I came out and did it. So, for me, I have options. So there's a lot of guys that want to fight me, including Johnny Bedford. But, people want to see that fight, and that fight, providing that I'm not in the show, that fight has to happen. I don't like him. He said a lot of foul things about me. But, that Trailer Park Conor McGregor is going to get his ass beat if he gets in the cage with me, and that is a promise.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah, the fight sort of sold itself, and kind of what you were saying and what Matt was saying as well, and even what Johnny was saying to a certain extent. I mean, there are these 2 promotions, so it's sometimes difficult on the regional scene to get 2 promotions to kind of come together and, say who's going to fight where and this and that. So that's kind of the unfortunate part, but clearly this fight does not need selling, and you guys, obviously want to fight each other. Do you feel like this is going to happen? I know you want to fight him. I know he wants to fight you, but there is a lot of politics going on here as far as the promotions. Crystal ball, do you see it happening?
Like I said, 2017 just started. WXC and KOP, they're going to have to work something out. The political aspect of things, I don't have any say in any of that. People want to see this fight. This fight is going to make money for whoever puts it on. Johnny and I are both going to make decent money fighting each other. It's a no-brainer for me. I mean, this fight sold itself. It's going to happen, I think, providing that, I'm not in the UFC before then. But, yeah, I mean, I think kind of it has to happen. I mean, there's no reason for me not to fight him. I don't have any doubts about my abilities to beat his ass. This guy doesn't scare me. I fought guys that are a lot more scary than him. I would urge Johnny Bedford to fight Farkhad Sharipov because I know Farkhad would beat his ass. I'd urge him to fight Steven Cervantes because Steven Cervantes would beat his beat his ass. Chris Dunn would beat his ass. These are all guys that I've beat and beat decisively. And I know that these guys would go out there and whoop his ass because I watched him fight a guy that was 12-12, get dropped 2 times. I watched him fight a guy that was 2-0, and this guy gave Johnny everything that he could handle. I think the sport has passed him. I think he's on his way out, and I think I'm the only fight that keeps him relevant in this sport. I don't think he's getting his job back with the UFC, and I think that when I get in there against him, I am going to absolutely manhandle him. And I'm getting worked up just thinking about it because I want to fight bad. I mean, I really do. I want to tear him apart. But, I'm not going to get an opportunity to this time. But, you better know that I'm going to be looking for that fight, after April 29th.
Before I let you go here, and again, great stuff here. Obviously, I'm glad I getting your side of the story and everything like that. Darren Cruikshank's fighting soon. I know you got your fight at the end of next month as well. Are you going to Japan with Darren for his fight, or are you going to stay at home in the States?
No, I'm definitely gonna go with Darren. I'll be gone for 3 days. I've already worked it out so that I got a training partner and somebody to work with when I go out there. So I'm not gonna miss any days. But yeah, I definitely Darren goes to all my fights. I go to all his fights. It's been that way. I've been to every single one of his. I cornered him in all of his UFC fights. He's cornered me in all 14 of my pro fights. It's him and I are like brothers in this fight game. Wherever he goes, I go. Wherever I go, he goes. So, I'll definitely be there supporting him.
Good stuff. And just initial thoughts on the matchup with Zac Church, KOP 55. Pretty interesting matchup.
Yeah, I watched him fight. He's an extremely durable guy. Real good wrestler, pretty good size. I think most of his fights were at lightweight. So I think he's probably going to be a little bit bigger than me. But most of my training partners are. So. And I've fought at 45 a lot. I've fought guys that were bigger. I don't think he brings anything to the table that I haven't seen in the past or I don't see in the training room every day. So I see this fight going the same way my last one did. I'm gonna go after him right off the get go, and I'm gonna get another first round finish. And it's gonna be something spectacular too. I'm gonna hit him with everything I got. Right off the get. And if he doesn't go down in round 1. I'm going to come out and do the same thing in round 2, and eventually, I'm going to get him. I'm going to put him away.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely link up before that fight as the date approaches. But in the meantime, Cody, I can't thank you enough for coming on here, man. Where can people get a hold of you on social media? And if you got any thank yous, shout outs, sponsors, things like that, man, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so I'm just Cody Stamann on all my social media. It's CodyStamann. Try to keep it simple. Thanks to my team. Thank you for having me on. I definitely wanted to get, my side of the story out because I felt like this guy's trying to portray me to be something that I'm not. I get it. He's out there trying to sell a fight. That's what we have to do. But I think I do a lot better job of that. I go out and I win every time. And if you've watched any of my fights in Michigan, every single time I fight in Michigan, it's a sold-out crowd. I do my job as an athlete. I have two jobs. One, win fights, and 2, put cheeks in seats. And I do that every single time. So at 13-1, I'm going to the show, and when I get there, I'm gonna tear through everybody, and I can't wait.